Rwanda's suppression of opponents abroad deepens concerns over asylum policy. The Guardian has uncovered evidence that Rwanda's top diplomat in the United Kingdom, Johnston Busingye, has overseen the manipulation of the international justice system to target opponents of the Rwandan regime worldwide. These revelations add to growing concerns about the regime at the heart of the United Kingdom's controversial asylum policy. During his 9-year tenure as Rwanda's Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Busingye, now the High Commissioner to the UK, presided over at least 3 cases where Rwandan exiles who had challenged the authorities were detained, deported, or declared wanted on dubious grounds. In one particularly glaring instance, an international criminal alert against a former senior official was deemed so blatantly politically motivated that it was rescinded by the agency responsible for issuing such notices. Busingye's involvement in acts of repression by the Rwandan government is not new. While serving as Minister of Justice, he acknowledged the regime's role in an operation in Dubai to apprehend Paul Rusesabagina, a dissident whose story inspired the film Hotel Rwanda. The Lantos Foundation, a United States human rights organization, called for Busingye to be sanctioned by the UK following his nomination as High Commissioner. Chris Bryant, a Labour MP, stated at the time that Busingye should be on our list of sanctioned individuals, not people being escorted to Buckingham Palace to have their credentials agreed by Her Majesty. For 7 months, Busingye's nomination as ambassador to London remained in limbo. However, days after the UK government reached an asylum agreement with authoritarian President Paul Kagame in April 2022, Busingye was invited to the palace for his formal appointment. A spokesperson for the Lantos Foundation questioned the timing, suggesting a possible link between the asylum deal and the UK's decision to accept Busingye's credentials. A spokesperson for the Foreign Office maintained that nominations for ambassadors or high commissioners are considered on a case-by-case basis in the usual way, and a range of factors are taken into account before a decision is made. The Rwanda asylum policy has faced legal challenges, with a High Court judge asking the UK government to confirm the earliest date it intends to remove asylum seekers to Rwanda. When Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced the deal with Rwanda, he declared, "Let's be clear, Rwanda is one of the safest countries in the world." However, an investigation by Rwanda Classified, an international coalition of journalists coordinated by Forbidden Stories, reveals that for some who cross Rwanda's rulers, nowhere is truly safe. Kagame's shadow reaches far beyond Rwanda. President Kagame came to power in 1994 when the Tutsi rebel army he led overthrew the Hutu regime that had unleashed a genocide that claimed the lives of over 800,000 Tutsis and moderate Hutus. Kagame restored order and oversaw economic recovery, aided by Western powers who had stood idly by during the massacres. Yet, a darker side to Kagame's rule has always loomed. The aftermath of the genocide led to war in neighboring Congo, where Rwandan troops have been accused of collaborating with M23, a Tutsi militia known for its atrocities. Within Rwanda, journalists have reported feeling threatened. John Williams Ntwali, a leading Rwandan reporter who investigated sensitive topics related to Kagame's regime, was warned he would end up in prison or dead before his suspicious death in 2023. Authorities have provided conflicting accounts of his demise. Kagame's influence extends far beyond Central Africa. His opponents abroad live in fear of meeting the same fate as his former intelligence chief, whose bloodied body was found in a South African hotel room. A Western journalist who reported on suspicious deaths of Kagame's enemies has been targeted by a smear campaign. Despite this, Kagame has a chorus of prominent admirers, including Conservative MP Andrew Mitchell. From 2020 to 2022, Mitchell received nearly £40,000 for 9 days' work per year from a bank founded by Kagame's former finance minister. Mitchell is now a Foreign Office minister. A Foreign Office spokesperson stated that, all the minister's previous interests when he was a backbencher have been declared in the correct way. Rwanda's abuse of the international justice system. In 2013, Busingye was appointed Attorney General and Justice Minister. The following year, he welcomed the head of Interpol to Rwanda to launch a renewed hunt for fugitive genocidaires. However, questions soon emerged about how Rwanda was using red notices, the worldwide alerts Interpol issues to apprehend suspects. In July 2016, Enoch Ruhigira, a Rwandan living in New Zealand, was arrested in Germany based on a red notice issued by Rwanda. Ruhigira had served as a senior official in the Hutu regime before the genocide. However, the red notice had been withdrawn a year prior to his arrest, after it was revealed that he had fled Rwanda before the alleged crimes occurred. Ruhigira was eventually released without charge after 8 months of detention. Leopold Munyakazi, another exiled Hutu, was deported to Rwanda in 2016 despite an ongoing investigation by U.S. immigration authorities, which was almost certainly compromised by a Rwandan spy, according to a leaked FBI report. In Rwanda, Munyakazi was sentenced to life for genocide, but his conviction was overturned on appeal due to lack of evidence. He was then sentenced to 9 years for genocide denial, for referring to the atrocities as a civil war rather than a genocide. Interpol's watchdog rejects Rwanda's political motivation. Rwanda's manipulation of Interpol's red notice system was further exemplified in the case of Eugene Gasana, a former Rwandan ambassador to the U.S. and the UN. Gasana's diplomatic career ended when he disagreed with President Kagame's plan to extend his rule. In 2020, Interpol issued a red notice for Gasana at the request of Rwanda, alleging rape and sexual harassment. However, Interpol's internal watchdog sided with Gasana, finding that the allegations were politically motivated and that U.S. law enforcement had already investigated the matter and declined to prosecute. The red notice was cancelled in July 2021 for having a predominant political dimension, not international justice polluted by rogue regimes. Rogue regimes such as Russia, China, Iran, Venezuela, and now Rwanda are abusing red notices, according to Bill Browder, an anti-corruption campaigner who has been targeted by the Kremlin through Interpol. For Rwanda to join that group while the UK government is saying it is a safe country to send asylum seekers is an absurdity. Quote, Yolande Makolo, Rwanda's government spokesperson, defended the country's justice system, claiming that it has delivered justice to victims of the genocide. She added that Rwanda will continue to work with international partners to track down genocide suspects and ensure the safety of its citizens.